So, Brexit means Brexit, and the band's breaking up. But what exactly happens now? Well, with Article 50 triggered, we have 2 years to make a trade deal before we shuffle out the door. Though, what with a deal needing to go through Brussels, plus some fairly distracting elections, we've actually got about 18 months at best. Just like Jeremy Corbyn and Trident, Article 50 was designed not to be used. The EU will insist that we negotiate the terms of the split first. That's who gets what and how much we owe towards future projects and EU workers' pensions. It's looking to be about 50 billion euros, which seems a bit much, but someone's got to pay for Nigel's nursing home. We also need to decide just what happens to all the EU workers living in the UK and all the UK pensioners living in the EU. All this leaves very little time to organise a trade deal before we leave. Luckily, Theresa knows exactly what she wants. Tariff-free trade without the tyranny of the single market, the scourge of free movement, or the needless whining of the European Courts of Justice. Europe, on the other hand, wants rights for its citizens living in the UK and to keep Europe together. Give us too sweet a deal, and the whole continent will want one. We need the deal a little more than Europe does, as half of our exports go to Europe and just 12% of their exports come here. Now, most trade deals this big take between 5 and 10 years, so no matter what David Davis says, we're never going to do it in time. But in the words of our great leader, no deal is better than a bad deal, so there's a distinct possibility we'll be out the door without even dividing up the dinner set. This is what they call hard Brexit, the cliff's edge. It's a less than ideal situation. We'd be out the single market and lose the EU's deals with countries like South Korea and Canada. Our trade arrangements with the US and China would be out the window. There'd be tariffs and customs checks on everything moving between the UK and Europe. This breaks companies' supply chains, which are based on sending parts around Europe with absolute ease. But does it really have to be this way? Can Britain Brexit without regressing to a farmyard economy based on potatoes and ennui? Our best hope is if May can negotiate a transitional deal before we leave. Some hastily scribbled rules for the UK and EU to follow while we spend the next 5 to 10 years working on a proper deal. We'll be able to weather the storms of Brexit if we employ what we like to think are very British values: scepticism, calm debate, and moderation.